talks with a mostly volunteer-led nonprofit, and I realized after a few minutes that even though they'd scored almost ready in the Unlock Grants Grant Readiness Assessment available at unlock-grants.com, they actually still had a lot of work to do. What can we all learn from their challenges? Well, their website made no mention of their mission statement. They're a chapter of a national organization, so all that is needed is to echo that mission statement, yet there was no indication of why they do all they do. And speaking of all they do, when I spoke to them, they listed a laundry list of programs and initiatives. But upon further discussion, I realized that all those activities were only being carried out by 4 of their dozens of members. According to them, their financials are in order, but no funder, has any way of knowing that. Their GuideStar, otherwise known as Candid profile, showed 0 in assets when I looked them up. Their financials also appeared nowhere on their website. Their GuideStar profile did not list any info, in fact. No mission, no board or leadership. It was blank. What is a funder to think when they encounter that? No wonder they had applied for multiple grants and had always been turned down. What to do in their case? How to account for all the good work they're doing and turn the tide on their lack of grant success? Tip number 1, lead with your mission. Your nonprofit must have a mission, and it must be your North Star. It must guide everything your organization does. It must lead the conversations you have with donors, individuals, foundations, whomever, and be the reason behind all the donations and grants you seek. It should guide your funder searches, so you are assured that you and your funder are both working towards the same goal. It should be the alignment you find with all your funders and individual donors. Your mission should be at the top of your website and part of all your external communications, so no funder has to wonder what it is or search around to find it. It should be reflected on at each board meeting, each internal meeting, so every ambassador of your nonprofit is reminded of why they're there and why they're involved, so they can remind everyone else that they meet. And especially, it should be the guiding principle behind all aspects of your strategic planning process, and at this point be put under the microscope to make sure your mission is still relevant, still appropriate, and still makes sense as your raison d'etre. However, make sure that you don't fit your mission into what programs are. The opposite should be true. Your mission should be the why you do your programs, and the programs should be the how that you fulfill your mission. Don't let the tail wag the dog. Tip number 2, be sustainable. Your mission must be the reason you do all you do as an organization, so all your programs must be fulfilling your mission. But what happens if all your programs are just that, a list of programs? Is that sustainable? You can offer dozens of programs and have scores of initiatives, but if they aren't aligned with your mission, funders notice that. And if you're just burning through your most valuable asset, time, a litany of activities is not impressive if those activities don't align with your mission. If you have tons of events or undertakings in your nonprofit's lineup, can you really tell me they are all in service to your mission? For a small organization, I consider small as a nonprofit with little or no paid staff, doing one thing and one thing well is far more desirable to funders and donors. It's easier to envision your small, mostly or all volunteer nonprofit getting behind one mission-driven activity and crushing it, focusing on one or a select few endeavors that really work toward solving the problem or answering the need your agency exists to eradicate is far more compelling to funders or donors than when there's too much to have them truly believe are working towards your shared mission. Put all your programs through a tough examination. Perhaps score them with my Program Fundability Scorecard. Look at Module 1 of my Unlock Grants course. Assess if they are working towards your mission or if you're just doing them just because. Are they duplicating other services? Are they too labor intensive or not cost effective? And most of all, are they accomplishing what you set out to do, which is to fulfill your mission? If 4 people are all you can count on to accomplish all the undertakings of your nonprofit, perhaps take a hard look at your structure. And that's in order. If all your small nonprofit has is 4 burned out people doing all the work and a bunch of dead wood, that's really not sustainable. And some difficult decisions need to be made by everyone, not just the 4 making it all happen. I was in such a situation where a small chapter was being led by the same handful of people and the rest of us were sitting back and taking advantage of all their hard work. What did we do when we saw the writing on the wall that this chapter was headed towards extinction? We met as a group. We talked about the situation and we heard from the non-leaders about why others weren't stepping up. We, as a group, decided right then and there on a new structure for our chapter, one that accommodated everyone's busy schedules, broke down all the chapter tasks into chewable bits, and reassigned responsibilities into manageable chunks. That was 5 years ago, and we're thriving. The chapter is growing. Our programs are strong. New leaders are emerging, and no one is burning out. Tip 3, watch your outward-facing info. When you make inquiries with a foundation, apply for a grant, or even make an appeal to a corporation for a sponsorship or to a savvy individual for a donation, your nonprofit is researched by that prospective funder. What they find when they look you up will mean the difference between a donation, grant, or corporate sponsorship, or nothing at all. Think like a funder or an individual donor when you work on your website, your press releases, or any external communication. Lead with your mission, make sure it's displayed prominently on your website and appears in your press releases. Remind the public of why you exist as an organization. Make sure your current leadership and board is listed on your site. It's even better if that list includes brief bios and headshots of your staff and board members. Make sure your financials appear on your website and are easy to find. And your most recent 990 is great, yes, even though they'll also appear on GuideStar. All your 990s historically is fantastic, but at least 3 years worth is expected. Make sure you're appearing correctly on GuideStar. It's free. And work to make your profile as complete as possible. Include as much detail as you can in the interest of transparency. I suggest using another larger nonprofit in your community with a particularly stellar reputation as a model. Look them up on GuideStar and pattern your profile after theirs. Is the information current? Is it complete? Are all the GuideStar categories filled in and answered? Work to get as close to that as possible. Funders will notice. GuideStar actually rates your organization on the comprehensiveness of your profile. They have seals of transparency levels from platinum to gold, silver, then bronze to no seal. Funders appreciate that rating and actually consider it in their decision to fund you or not. Tout your rating in your grant proposals. More information, not less, makes a prospective funder feel secure in considering your request. Look up a platinum level nonprofit and use their profile as a benchmark of quality. What does a Google search on your nonprofit turn up? Hopefully, all good news. Make sure your nonprofit's SEO is optimized. You're using keywords throughout your site and social posts to improve your searchability, and work to correct any errors or misleading findings. As you work towards grant readiness, consider your nonprofit through the eyes of a funder. Make sure your mission is clear and prominent. Make sure your mission is driving everything your organization does. Make sure what you're working to accomplish is within reason and you're going about it in a sustainable way. And make sure you're sending the right message out into your community and beyond. Keeping these recommendations in mind will help put the finishing touches on your organization's grant readiness.